Hello. For a second, I thought it was Wednesday. I was like,
Nobody's good.
Yeah. It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies in the building. Are you wearing a jacket or you're not wearing a jacket? Please choose one.
I'm wearing a jacket.
The producer is confused.
I
Is she
know.
wearing that jacket?
Please, I need to send the producer. Please go to Google and see how babes wear jackets now.
Yes. They don't put the hands
No,
in the
don't
arms.
put our hands inside.
Yeah, it's
No.
just leave it hanging.
Yeah, it's
All right,
fancy.
okay. So producer, don't be confused. She's not wearing it. The jacket is one already.
It's one.
How you doing, Mariah?
Like the
I'm doing
pink.
good. Oh, thank you. I'm wearing like a full pink today. So I just put the
You should
blue.
stand up. Honestly, you look really nice and chic. You look really, really nice and chic. Look at that.
Yay.
Oh.
Okay,
How
so today I wanted today to be like a feel-good Thursday, but
Okay.
I just have to rant. So my husband's office has been working on this site, and yesterday the site that we're working on is in dispute and in court, right? But work is still going, and then someone hired like 3 trucks of thugs. They came on the site, they shot at people, they used machetes on people, they killed 3 of the workers. One of them is their admin staff. I mean, that people can do this in...
Matter, right?
I don't even know. We don't even know for sure. It's in court. The site is in court, and they're already handling that on the legal side. But people are working on the site, and to come in broad daylight and shoot at people, and so there are so many people in the hospitals with different sorts of wounds, and they lost a staff. The person who left his home to come to work, and now they have to go to the parents to say, this is how the person died. Not that he went to the war front, or he went to work on a building
Really
site.
sad. Really sad.
Really
I mean, the
sad.
related
To
story
find
too.
more amicable ways to resolve these issues.
Even something saying in the papers about the OAU, the land grabbers, actually poisoned the dam, that taking water to the university. I mean, these are all part of the issues when you're having land dispute issues. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to the end of school session.
Yes,
so
tomorrow.
Easter school session ends
Your
tomorrow.
kids go to school today?
Yes, we did.
We would not go. I just said the rain was just too much. You know what? Please stay under the covers. You'll be all right.
My son is preparing to do puzzle in school, and we will not hear word. So they are timing them that, okay, yesterday we were able to do it in 40 seconds, and the girls still finished earlier than them. So they have the boys team and the girls team. It's a puzzle competition. So I told him, don't worry, just go back and keep on practicing. So he needs to be in school today, and so that he could practice. But I'm excited about the next week break, mainly because I realized that, you know, the responsibility falls on us women, and people are juggling, getting to work, and they're doing school runs. So that's 2 weeks might be like a small break, but
then you get to rest.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm exhausted.
I've seen your pictures. When Larry Lushala's
And she asked us to take picture.
No, what we do is initially in the mornings, once we get into class, we quickly snap because we don't know what the class is going to be about for that day.
Did you guys
At the end of the day, you are drained. We did some practicals yesterday, and they used me as a guinea pig. And one of my life's major problems was solved yesterday. I saw it firsthand. And I had to deploy the same thing on somebody else because I'm going to be practicing NLP now in my coaching. And the person gave a testimony in class. I was like, me, I'm just learning the thing, man. But that's not what I wanted to say. I've been in traffic for, I don't know what's happening in Lagos roads now. From Surulere to the island, I get home like 11 p.m. every day.
Oh, you're going the
I
wrong
eat
route.
dinner. I'm telling you, I eat dinner in the car. I was telling my husband yesterday that I think the only thing that's remaining is for us to get toothbrushes, bucket of water. So we take our bath in the car and, you know, just it's been terrible.
That's the
I'm
typical.
on the island from
from the island,
Lekki.
okay.
That's the
timing.
typical story of the average
thing is-
working island working
But if you
Nigerian, and
work,
it's bad.
If you work on the island, when I used to work in the bank, I worked in VI.
Okay.
You would wait until 9 p.m.
Why now?
so that you can get home on time, or you would stay in traffic throughout those hours
Till
and then get
11
home.
and get
So
home.
sometimes
Still get home at
terrible.
9.
Yeah,
It's
still
been
get home.
terrible.
So just stay
So
till late and
exhausted.
then.
But it makes you understand why life expectancy is in the 50s and early 50s at that, and late, and people are dying quickly.
Especially in Lagos.
Yes, and so we should work on it.
You know what she said? I had a colleague who drove home through the traffic, got to his house, they opened the gate.
He couldn't come down.
Switched and he died there in his car.
They've died in traffic.
Years and years of going through that traffic.
Hey,
It's traumatic.
okay. So we've gotten a place at Lekki. We're setting up the place now.
Yes.
You, your husband?
No, my husband first for now. We will come later.
No, as in, your family is moving from that place to Lekki?
No, calm down.
That's good news.
No, my husband is going to move first.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. If you know where this girl is.
She says that live in Alakoto.
I'm waiting for Nima. Nima's one is the next one.
Yes.
I'm going to be in Alakoto for a while.
I have to move to civilization. Just come to this area.
No, but honestly, whenever I visit my parents, I'm like, are people that drive on this road sane? You see them driving between that, like all those 5-star trade fair area. They drive like insane people.
I go there with my husband sometimes, and I'm just like, I get scared in my own country. And people are all around you, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, am I still in Lagos? Is that bad?
It is.
So congratulations, by God's grace, God make
Everybody will move too.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to start with the Punch. Senate attacks federal government, says only state police can stop banditry. From that same Senate. Okay, all right. 2 killed, many injured as gangsters clash in Lagos. Atiku denies hiring U.S. lobby group against Buhari's inauguration. Yoruba novelist Oladejo Okediji dies at 89. Senate to override Buhari's veto on 2 bills. Picture here of residents under high-tension wires in Lagos State. That's the Alimosho local government. I'll work with PDP Senator says Alawan. Anambra Assembly passes bill to stop expensive funerals. No plots to reverse Supreme Court's decision on Rivers APC. And Labour urges Buhari to sign a minimum wage bill immediately. Okay, let's start with the human interest story. But that picture story also gets to me because we have to really evacuate people from these high power tension wires because it's very unsafe. I mean, we've heard of stories of many million people dying. I don't know why they go and locate their houses there. These are, I'm sure they're unapproved residents.
Unapproved, but the property was sold. The properties usually are sold, but the building itself unapproved. So don't buy properties that you see are around the high tension, you know.
Anyway, let's talk about the 2 that died.
Yes, so there was a rival gang clashed in between Fadeye and Mushi. According to residents in the area, that clash has been ongoing, like every 2 months, every 3 months, there's a clash, a major clash. And then they were shooting at each other. When the shooting subsided, a dispatch rider who was just going to deliver, his message entered then the shooting had stopped when he passed there, but then they started again, and without warning, a stray bullet, yes, it was caught in the middle of the whole thing. Another guy was also killed at the same time. So the police, they are aware of what has happened. According to them, they've arrested 33 people involved in that clash. So I just hope that they take it up.
Not called, no, they're just saying that they were not called, just area boys, Mushi and Fadeye.
Just gangs.
Gang members. Okay, who has the number story? The House of Assembly.
Oh, I have it. Yeah.
Let's take that story now.
So
it's an interesting, feel-good story. Let's clap for their number house. At least they are working.
So the bill was passed, to make it inexpensive to have burials, because according to them, they spend so much in the burials. They buy expensive caskets. A lot of people take loans to have, their burials, and then they keep their corpse as much as 2-3 months in the mortuary because there's no money to do the burial, which I've experienced it firsthand, having grown up in that area. So this is just, and they've also said, according to some parts of the bill, that when a burial is going on, no properties will be destroyed. Cooking and feeding relatives is at the discretion of the people. Is just 1 week.
Because I think they have it where you have to shave your head
and do all
months and months.
Into that bill,
but can you
thrash it properly? Get an expert.
Can you legislate a cultural thing? Can you legislate on culture?
Yes,
I believe that it should be something that the community leaders themselves would decide that enough is enough on this thing, and culture should evolve based on them.
If you want to, even if you want it to evolve, some people will still object.
Yes.
But only the law can put that lead on it and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it.
So the power of the state even
I think
supersedes.
it's a good law, it's a good deal. We'll look at it, we'll thrash it properly because we need to look at the pros and cons of this and then see so that our viewers are well informed. Let's move on now to Daily Sun. Locate flush out bandits, Buhari orders police. El Zakzaki's followers storm British embassy in Abuja. Senate dares president resolves to override veto on timeline for budget income tax relief bills. INEC proposes 3-year jail term for vote buying. And Imo PDP alleges looting of state property. Okay, let's move on because I know Sonny came in pretty late, so we didn't really read Son. The Nation. Air Force bomb bandits. President meets service chiefs. Senators join call for state police. Freed Lagos Fire Service chief. I was blindfolded. And the 2 suspects have been arrested. Polls, INEC Chair, Inspector General Waba, others blame politicians for violence and malpractices. IMF cautions Nigeria against borrowing from China. And 446 Nigerians in UAE prison, says envoy. Okay, let's take the fire chiefs first.
Yeah, so the acting director of the Lagos State Fire Service, Razaki Musibao, has been released. So, you know, we have been following the story, and he talked about the day of the abduction. Says he was just on his way to Ekpe, and that these people, these abductors, were just, you know, practically on the road, just carrying out their business of robbing people and picking up people. He was picked up with a few other. Yes, he was picked up. It was 6 p.m. He was picked up with a few other people. Some of them were released when their families paid their ransom. He also has been released.
Look at the 2 gentlemen. Look at the men.
Yes, and then they were able to arrest 2 gentlemen. Is it gentlemen? 2 suspects. I mean, if you see the pictures, I wish. Yeah, they look really miserable.
They will be miserable.
So we're happy he's back and safe, and we just hope that this would, you know, make the government put like proper security in that area, because it seems like something
Let's
that's
talk about
ongoing.
IMF for a second. IMF is warning third world countries borrowing from China.
And actually it was also directed at Nigeria. So the IMF gave a press release that these third world countries borrowing from China are not properly protected from Chinese if they default on the loan, saying that if they use the process of Paris Club Fund, the conditions there are even favorable to third world countries. And the PDP, in support of IMF, is saying that our debt profile has increased drastically under this current administration. In 2015, we were owing 17 trillion, and in 2016, we moved to 21 trillion, and now we're owing 24 trillion to China. However, Udo Doma, that's the Minister for Budget, mentioned that we have the capacity to manage it, but I just feel our debt profile is still sustainable, and that the reason for the loan was because of the economic meltdown and the low cash. Then he listed out all the things they've used the funds to do and all the projects that the government has carried out, the N-Power and all of that would
we are
bring
also trying to generate internal revenue to help offset.
Yes. So can I just remind them, because the Zambian airport right now, the supposedly Zambian airport is owned by China in Zambia. Train stations, transportation owned by China within the country, before we enter into another economic slavery, which is worse off than what we were able to survive from. Let us be wise and take a look at
countries
it.
that actually allow foreigners to do that for a period, maybe
for
20 years. Eventually, they now it's handed over. So
that's why
let's know
IMF
the terms
is
of
saying.
engagement. So I think what IMF is asking us to just be careful.
Yes, let it be
ensure that the
favorable
fine
for
prints
you.
are
But it
favorable,
wasn't favorable. It hasn't been favorable for other African countries that have experienced it. It's not. So we cannot let ourselves, having seen it happen to other Africans, happen to us. We have enough intelligent people to go through the fine prints.
No, we shouldn't be desperate about it.
Yes.
I've seen IMF also hasn't really.
Yes, I don't trust them. So
Everybody has an
listening to IMF more people. Okay, let's move on to the next paper. Vanguard. Senate condemns killings, insists on Senate state police. I'm surprised Senate are talking about state police. Is it not them that are saying, okay, we'll come to them? I was really shocked. Is it Senate? This same Senate? Okay, maybe it's not the same Senate. All right, building collapse, 30 distressed buildings demolished on Lagos Island. In my village too.
You have a village.
I have a village. Labour NECA decry Buhari's delay in assenting to minimum wage bill. 65 professors justified for UNNVC. 446 Nigerians in UAE prisons. Poisoning of OAU dam, an act of genocide, says OAU management. And IMF ranks Nigeria's world's second worst in use of sovereign wealth fund.
There's so many human
Right, lots of
rights
stories in
there.
Vanguard.
Our people in prison.
Yes,
Yeah, the
UAE.
president, UAE, yes. The president held a town hall meeting with Nigerians living in the UAE.
Our president?
Yes, held a
Oh,
town hall
okay.
meeting with them. And the Nigerian ambassador, Mohammed Rimi, so said that 446 persons are in the UAE prisons for crimes of armed robbery and hard drugs. Yes, and then the UAE, the state itself, it's beginning. They were able to give about 5,000 to 5,000 people amnesty in the spirit of forgiveness, so that at least they can go about their Nigerians go about their businesses. But we have about 2,000
Nigerians,
yes,
who have
about
gone in
2,000 students amongst the 10,000 people, because they said when
legal.
they get in, there's no there's no proper registration.
Okay, the Senate. You want to talk about the Senate?
Yes. So the Senate is
Let's start with the
pushing
good
this-
news.
Okay.
The Zamfara, at least we know the Air
Well,
Force.
there's a 10 million, is it 10 million?
Billion.
10 billion
10 billion intervention fund.
intervention fund. Okay, so it's
Not
supposed
confirmed, though. They were just
they're
suggesting.
they're suggesting that there's an
Plans,
intervention
yeah.
fund to solve the issue of banditry in Zamfara, and then they suggested state policing as a solution to that. I know that before this government came into power, there was a campaign that we would have state policing. It was said as a solution to the problem, and then it was moved into the Senate, and it did not come out of there, and they fought against it within the Senate. So why are we bringing it back? I am concerned for the people of Zamfara, and I feel that there should be a military a state of emergency in Zamfara State now.
Okay.
Even if you have military intervention, they will still need to consult with the governor, and if you want to fight what is going on there, the governor apparently hasn't been able to do it successfully for the past years.
Okay.
So let us give it to the military and let them take over what is going on there. Less than these things happened when Obasanjo handed over created military rule. Some complain about it, but I think that the people in Zamfara deserve
Right.
quick solutions.
Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. Zamfara senators approved 10 billion naira budgetary intervention. We talked about that already. So it's been approved. It's actually not planned. It's been approved, according to Tribune. IMF warns on China loans as federal government says 24 trillion debt is sustainable. We talked about that already. Not less than 73 senators will vote for Lawan, says spokesman. Anambra Assembly outlaws expensive funerals. I think we've taken most of the stories.
No, there's a major one. The
Maize
maize
production increases to 20 million tons, farmers say.
Okay.
You have that story?
Yeah, the president of the Maize Association of Nigeria, I didn't know we had such. His name is Alhaji Bello Abubakar. I said that maize production in Nigeria has increased from 8 million. It was 8 million to 20 million, you know, so that's a major increase, and they should be applauded because it is part of the the move to increase agriculture influence in, growth of agriculture in Nigeria.
Not so much about the production, it's about sustaining that, because exporting that, maintenance and all that.
The thing is, we're exporting, which is good for the farmers themselves because they get foreign exchange. But we, as our culture has evolved from eating maize into eating rice, which is imported. That's the part I wanted to highlight. We don't eat maize as much as we eat rice.
Processed,
you understand? We're eating more of processed rice that is imported into our culture. We're not eating our local food. Maize is available here. If we can, sort of increase our...
you know what? I think you're looking at Lagos. A lot of people eat maize, especially up north. So people eat maize. But I think the problem we have with agriculture right now is even the transportation system. You have things just backlog of food stuff that's supposed to be gone out.
And then it gets spoiled.
It's spoiled at the
Okay,
ports.
unfortunately, we have to run out. I really wanted to get to Telegraph because there was a picture story.
They don't take the story of OAU. She wanted to take the whole OAU story.
Yeah, she mentioned the word, which is basically that because some land grabbers wanted the land in the OAU premises, the university premises, there's a dam that provides water to the university, and these people came, allegedly poisoned the water with a chemical that they were able to notice because the aquatic animals in the dam died immediately. But I said, thankfully, on the day this happened, it rained for 2 days, so it was flushed out. They did some lab tests and confirmed that the water is now good. But it just shows you how desperate people can be.
for drinking, so they've actually cleaned. It's been cleansed already. So, unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. Today's Thursday. We're talking about family, dowry, and we have a very special guest in the building. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we heard some stories about bride price in different customs and tribes. We bring your attention now to a particular rant on social media, which you have once debated on the show and about the issue of bride prices. Some tribes are in the habit of returning bride prices, like my own, to the groom's family, saying, "You cannot sell our daughter. Our children are now for sale." Imagine that. Anyway, what are your thoughts on these issues of bride price? You can join the conversation on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet towards Activity Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Growing up, we used to watch these movies, you know, where the bride price was being paid. And it was almost like a thing of pride. And the families will accept it, and you feel like, yes, they've paid for the proper thing. But as we've evolved and we're growing up, I mean, I know I witnessed my aunt as a child that the father took the bride price. When it was my turn, they were returning it saying, "No, my child is not for sale. I want you." What happened? There's a huge disconnect. At what point do we stop collecting this bride price? But what are your general thoughts on bride price? Should we still collect it, or is it still relevant, or does it make the woman feel like, yes, you paid for me, I didn't just come to you for free?
Okay, so there was one thing I wanted from my wedding ceremony, my traditional wedding, which was my main event, was for my husband to prostrate, you know. So he was going to lie flat, and they'll put a mic to his mouth, and he will say, "Mo bebe fe," in that meaning that I am begging to marry her. For me, he did it. Oh, I even told the Alaga to make him say it over and over again. Because you know, there's this thing of, you just moved into your husband's house. You didn't go through the right process. You married yourself off. Your husband did not come to ask for you. It is the job of a man to decide, I want to marry. I am able to take care of a family, and I feel this woman is the best person to help me on that journey. So he makes the decision because he's well and able to do it, and it comes to do the traditional rites of that process. The traditional rites used to include a lot of money because they felt like rewarding the family for raising a good child. And so it was, let us reward this family. I value her so much. I want to thank you for doing this good job. I'm paying you a bride price to show my appreciation for this valuable child that you have raised, and it's going to be my wife. Okay. So I believe that culturally it was good. However, some part of our society have so commercialized it to the point where it becomes a burden on the men. And so that is where the issues came in from.
Look at we have on the screen right now showing items.
Exactly.
That's what
is your people.
For me,
these are items.
These are business people.
Yes, calm down, relax, I'm here. The bride price in itself is not the issue. Because if you check the amount that goes to the family, it's very meager, very small. Some take kobos, some take naira, 1 naira, 2 naira, and all of that. That's not where the issue is. Where the issue is the requirements of the marriage. Like the list, the things they showed right now, you see that in some climes, you bring as much as 5,000 yams, 5,000 this, boxes of wrappers, you know. All those things are what makes people go and get loan because they want to get married. There are some places in those climes that I don't want to mention their name, that their women stay in the house to like 40 because the men are hustling to get enough money to marry them. Now, if anything happens at the end of the day, you return the 50 naira you have paid, the money you spent, uncle. So it's not the bride price that's the issue. The bride price, I believe, should continue, but the requirements of marriage should be scrapped.
Okay, so let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll talk more and get some phone calls on Twitch. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
So, thanks for staying with us. Do we have some tweets?
Yes, Mr. Adebayo says, bride price is fine as long as it is not a burden on the groom. Okay.
Is it necessary today? Would you feel better as a wife that, yes, your husband paid something? Let's not look at the value.
Yeah.
Let's just look, even if it's 1 naira.
I wouldn't call it paying for. Like Tope mentioned, it's just like appreciation. So, and it's our culture. let's not forget that we have a culture here. We still need to uphold the positives of our culture.
Oh, good.
So it's our culture. We shouldn't throw it away, but then we should modify it in such a way that it doesn't stress the common man. Because my husband was highly stressed when we were getting married. And in my tribe, the thing is even very least compared to if he had gone to the East to get a wife. It was when they were checking the list of the things that they brought, the uncle started, no, you did not bring palm wine. No, you did not bring this. No, the boy was stressed on that day. I was shouting, I was crying in the room. I was shouting, if he goes, I'm going with him. Oh. I'm going with him. I'm not going to stay here. So we make it stressful, especially for people who are not from our tribe. Like in my tribe, if he was an Asaba person that came to marry me, they would have made it very easy for him. But because he was coming from another tribe,
taking away the investment of one tribe into his own.
Decide to stress. What if I had gone to the house and he decided to deal with me because he was stressed?
Let me
people get into that.
Taiwo, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, please.
I just want to contribute to what you are saying.
Yes, go ahead.
I think when people reject the dowry or the bride price, it's out of ignorance. It is out of ignorance.
Okay.
We had a conversation in church, and a judge of the Federal Court of Appeal, a woman, and she was like, that money is binding. That money is making the marriage to work. If there is any problem in the marriage, if they go to any court, because they have paid the bride price, the marriage is binding. So it's not about money. The money, can be 1,001 naira. But the major thing is the marriage, is in existence.
But in cases where the family returns it, is it still binding?
Pardon?
In cases where the family actually returns the money, is it still binding?
Sorry, I can't hear you properly.
Okay, we didn't get
Emma Bridget says, bride price is a traditional right, rewarding the family for bringing up a good daughter, but it should not be it shouldn't become a burden to the man. And that is where we all agree.
Yes. So, I was saying to you that in some places they'll take the girl away without paying anything or saying her parents. And that is not like a proper marriage you want for your child. So I think that it is important that you follow the rights. And as we all agreed here, it's just not, it has become commercialized. I was reading about other African countries to see what they do. In Rwanda, they do it as well. And they see it as a sign of respect for the bride's family. That in the cases where it's being returned, it doesn't show respect for the bride or for the family or even for the groom's family. That the groom's family feels very important when they're able to do that. That they look at this woman, they love her, and they want to show you how important she is to them. That there's no price to a human being.
Okay, we have to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to bring in our guest. Our guest is actually going to talk to us, not just before you even say I do, before we get to the point of bride price. We'll start from there, and then we'll work it up to bride price. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we've been talking about bride price, but even before we get to the point where you are deciding to pay a bride price, many people do not know what it takes to be married. They do not weigh the pros and cons. As a result of this, most marriages are now having issues of separation or divorce. So our guest will be joining us now to tell us what to do before you say, I do. When the going becomes tough, how can couples handle the situation? Joining us is a senior pastor, HCC, who is also a family coach, Pastor Amos Fenwa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
You can join the conversation 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I'll get your thoughts on dowry a bit later, but let's take a step back, this issue of marriage is always a very interesting conversation to talk about.
Yeah.
People want to talk about marriage all the time and relationships. There are different categories of women. Those who are out of university and they don't want to get married. They have no dreams. They don't want to do anything. They only just to become somebody's wife. There are those who want to desire to want to go around the world, want to do so many things. And there are others who are probably miss that opportunity and they're maybe in their 40s, 50s and say, okay, maybe it's time for me to settle down. So I'd like you to help us put it together. How, before you say I do, what are those things we should look out for a man and a woman?
Okay, the first thing I want to say is that marriage is ordained by God, it's initiated by God. You know, when Adam wanted to get married, God took a rib from him. That's the bride price. And this culture starts from there.
Right.
And when you want to marry somebody, it's like the first thing is you must define your purpose. Who am I? For example, now, I went to ministry very early in life, and I knew that the person I will marry must be somebody that will support my purpose.
Okay.
And she also must have a purpose on the area of being a minister's wife, because it's not every woman that can be a pastor's wife.
Right.
Because you take another anointing to see your husband talking to opposite sex and you feel comfortable. Even when you have never seen any mistrust,
right.
It's natural for some people to be like that.
Right.
So purpose has to be defined.
Right.
The second thing is vision. What's the vision for this man? Is my vision and the vision of this man going together? It's not just about settling down in marriage. One of the problems we just have as Nigeria, or the culture we grew up, is that every woman has been trained or been from the beginning that marriage.
Yeah.
So by the time they are 29, they are not married, they are just looking for a way to settle. And I think that culture is changing. Things are happening now.
Yeah. So you talk about you need to know purpose, you need to know vision, mission. A lot of people marry at 23, 24. They're still trying to figure themselves out. So they're not really thinking vision, mission, and purpose. They're thinking love. My God, butterflies in my tummy when I see my heart beating. You know, so is it not, is there not a way to do it? Is that not enough? The love to take you, and then while you're at it, then you now start figuring out vision, mission, purpose.
I think the reality is that if you don't really have a very good foundation about all these things, it will affect it. Because this love thing don't go forever. You know the feeling you have when you are dating somebody, they say the chemistry is very high. But after you go married, your brain just come down and say, well, what's the reality in this? And I feel there are many things we need to discuss before we say, I want to marry you.
I would like to know the signs you look out for. Like Miriam rightly said, when we're getting married, me for instance, I was in my 20s, just finished school, and the first thing was, oh, I'm in love, I'm going to get married. And I was able to get married. Now, in the course of my marriage, I have evolved.
Yes.
I am evolving every day. In fact, I had a conversation with my husband recently. I said, today, Tokwe is laughing because he actually called Tokwe and confided in Tokwe and said, today, this is who you are. I'm still trying to understand you. Tomorrow, this is who you are. I'm trying to wrap my head around it again. Next tomorrow, you are confusing me, baby. Stay in one place. And I cried because I didn't know I was, you know, developing that fast and changing that fast, that he was trying to keep pace with me. So I wasn't always like that before.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to come to a point
that
where I would become like that because I didn't even know who.
Vision.
Exactly.
Whilst you're in it.
There must be something like an altar of what you want before you can get married. You can't just walk into somebody because somebody is showing you love and say, okay, I want to settle with you.
Okay.
There should be a little thing you look at and say, this person is going to affect my life. It's going to make me to be able to do certain things. Because the truth of the matter is that when you get into marriage, you are going to become a different person. Because marriage is designed to change you, make you a better person, or bring the best out of you. There are so many things inside you that is still locked in until you get married. As you get married, things started opening as two of you begin to stay together. And your character will be reformed, refined. I used to tell people that until you are married, I'm not sure you are humble. I'm not sure you are.
Let's go one break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Pastor Amos. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we still have our guests with us. Now, there are lots of young people out there that it's their desire to achieve in life. What I was trying to say is, you are 39 today.
Yes.
and you really want to get married.
Yes.
Somebody, your friend will you say, stop looking for boyfriend, though. This day, you're looking for husband.
Yeah, real
The man should go knock on the door and be ready to marry tomorrow.
Yes.
Now, would you advise a 39-year-old person who is ready to settle down today? Should I just look for a man who says, I'm ready? Or should I still looking at the mission, the vision, the purpose, where you're going to, what you're doing? Is that still important at that point, or just marry because you said, I am ready?
To me, I think that is still very important.
Okay.
Even though time is going.
Okay.
Now, I counsel a lot of ladies who comes to see us in our churches, and you see, when a lady is 39, 40, what you are looking for is changing. Tall, dark, and handsome is no longer very important at that time, because you are looking for the reality.
Right.
Now, maybe you are a 6 feet lady and you feel you are looking for 6.2, but at that time you can marry anybody, forget about all those things.
Yeah.
But look at the reality.
Right.
And also, you know, at that age, a woman is almost getting into menopause.
Right.
Hey.
With the way we are now. So you want to have a baby.
Right.
So you look at some of those reality. Okay. Now, if I'm in 20s, I can still shackle, do a lot of things.
Right.
But at that age, is the reality.
So do you support that pressure? Do you support the women that will just jump into that marriage saying that, yes, I'm already like 40-something and
I don't
my
love
biological
him.
clock is ticking. I don't love him, but we have an understanding. I would respect him. We can
Would
work
you
it
advise
out.
her to marry?
Do you advise a woman to marry at that stage?
Yes, I a lot of them. I've helped to see things from that perspective. Because no matter where you live in the world, women want
People will
to
disagree with
settle
you, sir.
down for
A lot of
marriage.
people will disagree with you, saying that, listen, we...
You know, sir, what I thought you may say is, at that age, when you're in your 30s, 40s, it does not take you 3 years to figure a person out. You're smart enough to be
know
able to tell
where you're
the
going.
person, you know. You're smart enough to understand the person's purpose, vision, because the person should be around that age too. So he's shown through life what he has
The person will even be older
So
than
it will take a shorter time to understand that. But I just wanted to go to conversations that you have before you say I do. I married a divorcee, and the conversations I had, I think, were deeper than what Obiajulu had when she was marrying her own college sweetheart. My husband was coming off,
From a relationship.
yes, for a divorce. And one of the conversations we had was, this marriage will not end in divorce. Everything we go through, we will sort it out, you know. So for me, I felt that I had really deep conversations, but I've spoken to some of my friends, and they don't even know. You
They
know,
don't
the
understand.
thing they know is, oh, he loves pounded yam and egusi. You know, so what are the
What are the things to discuss?
What are the things to discuss with someone who's already been married before? And should you have a conversation with the ex-wife?
It depends, because even the ex-wife, you may not be able to
Access the person.
reach. But I want to say that the person should be open enough to tell you everything that is wrong. For example, I have an issue. A guy wanted to marry somebody, and this guy cannot perform as a man. It's a secret. Yes, because he was born like that, and the first person he was dating, he told the lady, I can perform.
Did he run away?
Yes, the second person now came in and said, I can perform. And that one said, I don't even like sex. But I'm a medical doctor.
That was
Let's
his
go
wife.
and check whether you are producing sperm. They did, and they find out. Today they have 2 boys by artificial insemination, but they don't have sex.
I love her.
So if they have not had that discussion from the beginning, you just get married and you find out that this man cannot
These are
perform.
really deep issues, man.
I have a case of a lady who got into marriage and the guy cannot perform. And after some time, the marriage has to go separate way. I'm not making this story up. This person I know.
I've seen too.
So these are things because the
Let me
person
take
that
this call. He's been
divorced,
holding for a long... Well, Larry, I'm so sorry. Are you
the person
there?
that divorced must have something.
Hello?
Yeah,
Are you
hello.
still there? Please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you. This is Mr. Olalere Abibola.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
Okay. What happened is that when you talk about bride price, are you listening to me?
Yes, we are listening. Go ahead.
I'm a lecturer, and I have a particular course I take in mass communication, which is titled African Communication System. Then I think I normally use something like this as an example for my students. You see, bride price actually communicates 2 things to us. Number one, when you pay bride price, it means you have actually requested for the lady with humbleness and humility.
Okay.
And when you accept bride price, it simply means you have given the lady out to the guy with your happiness, without anything hidden. So I just think bride price is good. It's our culture in Africa, and it should not be taken away.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for helping us understand that very clearly.
So I had, what Miriam said is way different from my experience, because I had very deep conversations with my husband, even as a young girl who was crazy. And that was one of the things I looked out for, because I noticed that he was more matured than his age. So we sat down even while we were in school, and we knew that divorce, we were not married though, nobody had seen anybody's parents, but we just knew that if we finally get married, divorce was not an option, and everything that happens, we'll talk about it. Now I want to go to the issue of conflict in marriage.
Yes.
You know that when two people come together to get married, they are coming from two different backgrounds. The map of their lives are different. The way they grew up, their perspectives. And then they come together, even if after they've seen all the signs and they know that this is my person, that conflict is inevitable. So when you now start having such conflicts of likes and dislikes and all those things that come up in marriage, how do you handle it?
Okay, the first thing is that the reason we have conflict in marriage because of temperamental differences, background, and gender differences. You know, when I got married to my wife, maybe I'm a male son, that's a temperament. My wife is a flag core. So I want to talk, she doesn't want to talk. So conflict will come. Although that's what attracted me to her. I like a calm woman. But when I got into the marriage, I found out that this thing is difficult. So we started having conflict. People want to sleep in the night. I want the light a little bit on. She wants us to be in total darkness. Conflicts. So many things will cause conflict. Sex is one of them.
Major.
For early marriage. Because not every woman that really wants sex like that. They want attention, affection before those things. Conflict will come. But how do you solve it? You have to agree that we can disagree. Before you even marry. We can disagree. And when we disagree, how are we going to solve it? Do we need to invite third party into our relationship before we can solve it? Of course, I will solicit that you have somebody that like a role model that you talk to in marriage. Because there come a time two of you may not be able to understand each other. Yes, sometimes it works. I'm not saying that you should be your parent or somebody, but there will be somebody like a figure
professional
that you can talk to.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll take some calls on Twitch. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, the topic had a comment.
Okay, so two things. One, people tend to see, I'm working on that area. I tend to see men in their 40s as, oh, what are you waiting for? If a man is not married in his 40s,
something is wrong.
I'm worried that a woman that goes to meet such a man, you need to ask him a lot of questions, because what has he been waiting for till we got to 45 that he did not get married? So there must be some underlying issues that you should look out for in such men. For women, I can understand, because you have to wait for the man to come on and talk to you. But for a man not to marry at 45, that is a red flag for women to watch out for. I want to know if you share that view and what to do in such situation, and what are the kind of things conversation should be having when you meet a man in his 45 and he's saying, now I want to marry.
If you meet a man at that age and is not married, there will be something wrong. Yes, I can tell you, because I'm a man. If a man is settled down and it's okay, you want to stay with a woman, and you need to ask the question, what has happened in the past? What have been your problem? A lot of time, the reason why some men are not married at that age is because of financial issue. Maybe he's still struggling in life. And some of them are looking for a lady that already made to some extent so that they can use that to augment their life. That's what happens most of the time.
It's valid.
Most of the time. So you need to ask that question, what are the things that you have been, what has happened in the past?
What are you doing with your life?
How are we going to move from here to the next level? Very important. What are the things? How do you see it in the next 5 years, 10 years? What are the things you feel you need to be doing?
I want to ask you a question, and I want you to be very, very true too. Especially, a lot of people need to understand, because there was a time we had a guest who said that some men padlock women, so you'd have no intentions to marry. You just continue that relationship. You're like the boyfriend, girlfriend for 5 years, 6 years, 7, 10 years, and 10 years down the line, he now says, has found somebody else that he doesn't want, they're not just the type.
Yeah.
As a man, I want you to help women there understand. Is it possible for you to actually be in courtship with somebody for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years, and he would marry you? If that is true, what delays them that long? And or is the thinking true that once he's extending to 10 years, there's a likelihood that he might not marry you? Maybe just quickly run away and move on. So which is it exactly?
For me, I don't believe in I don't think long dating is very good.
Okay.
The longest dating we have ever seen in the Bible is Jacob and Rachel.
Yeah.
And
Joseph.
7 years.
Jacob.
For 7 years. 14 years.
14.
For 7 years, another year. I don't believe in long courtship. When a man and a woman are dating, maybe you met in school like a sister.
Me now.
And by the time you are married, you are settled down, you have a job, you should just start your life. But when a man is keeping you for 10 years, number one, you have that's foolishness. Number two, so many things will have happened in that relationship. The chemistry will have gone down and go up, gone down, go up.
You're giving it for
so
free.
many things have happened. I think if a lady is locked up in that, something is wrong. It's not supposed to be. And if you are in that kind of things, I think you should sit down and have a meeting and conversation and look, maybe you are getting out.
Just go.
So how do you, because I had a case some time ago when a woman who got into marriage, they had this Christian relationship and then they didn't have sex. And by the time they got married, she found out that the guy couldn't perform.
Yes,
and she said, lie, she will not stay in that marriage because sex is one of the things that
It's called bedroom conception.
Okay, bedroom conception is one of the things that make her a person. So now, how do you teach people? Because we usually preach that you shouldn't get involved in such acts till the wedding night.
Yes.
Now, how do you teach people to find out if the person can perform or not while you are not doing anything?
Bistro on Instagram, on Twitter said, how does a Christian brother know that he cannot perform sexually?
You will know now because every day you wake up, there is something that tells you that you are lying. Yes. For a man.
A man, really?
A
How?
man knows now.
Oh, wow.
When a man wake up in the morning, there must be a glory of God. So you know. But what we do right now, because as a minister, as a family council, I've seen things that a church has wedded a couple, and this guy cannot perform. So because that marriage is based on you are not truthful,
deceit,
the marriage is gone.
Okay, so you can actually annul it.
How you can annul it? How you do is that they should do tests. There's a test. There's erection tests.
Oh, really? There is?
Yes, there's erection tests.
Oh, wow.
In our own church.
Performance tests?
Yeah, I mean, if you can,
if you can have
the glory of God test, please.
if you can have glory of God, then you can teach you the remaining.
So it's not just HIV and other things they do now. As erection test to know.
Let's take a few more tweets.
Please, I have a question from Twitter. Please. And I wanted to ask you, Mariah brought it up. My eyes on you says, what happens when you want a career before marriage, but your boyfriend isn't getting younger? I am 23 and I feel pressured already. And my original question is, why do we always get this question of it is either you succeed before marriage, or if you marry, you cannot achieve success? Is it either or? You can have that big dream.
Together.
Yes, you can have that. Must you pend marriage because you want to go for your career goals? Or can you have career and face marriage at the same time? Please, can you just help us?
For me, I feel like when a lady finishes university and you're already working, you should, if somebody come your way, you should go ahead at that time. Because you start building career will enter your heart to a level that marriage may not mean something to you. That's what I find out, because this thing happened at a stage in your life. That's what I can say. So you don't put career before marriage. You can pursue the two of things together. And for me, that's a discussion before you even get married. Well, we want to marry now, but I still want to go and do my master's. I still want to do this.
Clinton, are you there?
Yeah.
Hi, it's Hillary. Go ahead.
Why is it that, like, some areas in Nigeria, that if you want to go and pay by price, the family of the girl, like say, the mother will bring her own list, the father will bring his own list, and the community will bring their own list.
The community.
And at the end of the day, maybe the guy does not have money to pay all those things. Maybe they will say the guy should pay half of the money. Maybe you pay for the father or the mother, or later you come back and pay the community. How the guy is supposed to do all these things? Is this going to pay for the father first or the mother? Maybe along the line, something of all. which is maybe the guy may lose the guy, but I didn't pay for that.
I have the answer to that question, but let me...
for that, for the, you have not paid for the girl price for the community. So there's no way the guy will come back and tell the villager that they lost the girl. They have to pay all those things. So what are they going to do about that issue?
Thank you very much, Clinton. As we said in the papers today, the House of Assembly in Anambra actually has voided the excessive bill paid on funerals. So the answer to your question, get your lawmakers to change the law, because we need them to start working. Many of them are just going to collect money and they're being paid. So if we want these things to change, where you speak up and get the right people in leadership to push those bills so that they stop people forcing young men to sell houses, sell their cars, commercializing marriage generally. So that's the job. So, yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay, I have a tweet, and this person says, so a friend wants to marry a girl from River State. This is Le Billions that sent it. And this is the list that he was giving. I'm not reading the whole list, but it gives list of graduates, list of items for the village women, marriage list for the community, a middleman, then list for father, list for the youth, drinks for brothers, drinks for relatives. So it's like a 5-page list that you give to a man that wants to get married to
I think something needs to be done by the government on this matter, because a lot of ladies will just go there and I hate to use the word aspire, waiting that, because...
Sorry, I just also wanted to add, what does the church think about a list? Like, if someone's going to get married in church and then they come with this list to say, this is what they're asking us for traditional, what does the church advise the family?
We try to influence the parents and say that, let these people marry with anything they have. What is important is you value this girl. It's not even that thing. That wedding thing is a small thing compared to marriage. So we influence a lot of things from church.
Quick addition, though. I feel that women need to be bold enough to confront their parents.
Exactly.
And old, you know, bold enough. Because I know someone who, when they brought the list, he said, do you want me to sit down in your house for the next 10 years? Because this man wants to marry me and I want to marry him. If this list, is the list what you want, or your daughter to be happy and successfully married? And the parents saw reason. So I think that we need to get women to the point where they can face their parents and explain to them, this is more valuable. What is more valuable to you, my happiness or the money? Daniel says, what's the perfect age for a guy to get married?
There is no age when you are mature. You can be mature at 20 and you can be ready for marriage. So people are not mature at 40.
Steve Agada says...
Can you handle a woman? Can you handle a
So Steve Agada says, bride price shouldn't be abolished. What we should do away with is the poverty mentality in stressing out prospective in-laws. Some see bride price as an avenue to get money, eat food, and acquire property. They never mind the buoyancy of their in-laws.
I have a call from Theo. Theo, are you there?
Theo here.
Please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Yes, it's a pleasure to call onto your program. First time caller. I like to throw light. First of all, I was a bit worried when you said God factor is used to cage people. I was worried because the man of God, the pastor there, has clearly stated that you can't talk about marriage without defining it from the foundation. And so marriage is an institution that God ordained. Devil doesn't have marriage. So anytime you want to cancel marriage and you take God out, you will be using your idea or the people's idea. And then you can't find an authority that resolves all difficult questions. Secondly, bride price is a spiritual authority that a husband has. Why that is why anyone who steps into the wife is called trespass. If you do not pay consideration in order to have that authority, what kind of husband are you? You are simply like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. The symbol of authority is bride price. So we cannot abolish it, but we should advise those who take advantage of it to defraud or to take so much money. I know that. So when you fall in love with the tribes that do not charge so much.
Let your love absent.
So all the Oyibo people now that have married without bride price.
That's not culture. That's not culture.
We pick and choose when
Theophilus is a Christian, and I am a Christian, and we need to understand that not everybody in the world is a Christian.
Yes.
You know, and people have different religions that they practice. And our show is not strictly for Christians.
Exactly.
So, and people accuse me that, oh, you're a Christian, you're not pushing God.
No.
And Nima is pushing Islam. I said, no, we are here to push that everybody respects each other's opinion. So for some person, God is everything, and that's for me. For another person, it is open your eye and let me see what is going on, and that's their own worldview.
That's how they want to live.
Yes, and I
that's
believe we should
fine.
respect everybody's
So Emmanuel
opinion.
here says, that's the fact. My colleague is finding it hard to get married because of the requirements. Even his fiancée is not helping matters. She wants to use a wrapper of 30K minimum. Her parents wants to use 80K wrappers too. The guy is just tired and the lady has nothing to do to support it.
We have to round up. And I know that you're an author. You write books also, and you teach a lot of people on this issue of marriage and all that. I like, because we have just a few minutes left, I like you to help shed more light on what we should do before we do that. Make that step into marriage.
No, the first thing is that after you have discovered that this person, God is leading you to marry the person. God is still going to be there, because you need to. There must be something inside you. We may not call it God, that is pushing you that this is the person I can marry. You need to discuss so many things. I actually authored a book recently called 25 Things to Discuss Before You Say I Do. One of them, you have to teach about purpose. Why are we together? What are the things we can do together? Vision. You have to discuss secrets. What are the things people don't know about you, but you have to know.
Things you've done?
It could be things you've done. It could be things that you are still. It could be your health status also. You should know whether you have anything. You should also discuss about money. How are we going to manage money?
Very fantastic.
Are we going to have joint accounts? How are we going
Before
to be managing money? All these things need to be discussed. You need to discuss about family obligations. Okay, I'm the firstborn of my family.
These are my
I'm holding people. My mother and my father, I have to take care of them.
Yes.
Are you willing to?
I told my husband that I'm the only child.
So all those things are very important to discuss. You need to also discuss religion. Whether we are going to, where do we follow? If both of you are Muslim, are you going to be practicing it? Is our children going to practice it? If both of you are Christian, which church are we going to be attending?
Can we change religion tomorrow?
Okay. Are we going to be supporting the church we are going? Because payment of tithe and offering has caused problems within couples. Are we going to get involved in a church commitment? Because I've seen where a guy came to me and said, Pastor, I want to withdraw my wife from the choir.
Wow.
The choir is making I will not enjoy my marriage. So these are things that so many things to discuss. The name you are bearing now, is it your real name or you have other name? Because when you live abroad, you know people have different names. So these are things you need to talk about before you get into marriage.
And this is by getting knowledge. So they should read the books, read books.
And learn.
Bedroom. Are we going to be sleeping in the same bedroom? Because we have seen couples who came from a family and say, I want to have my own bedroom. What's the purpose of marriage? If you cannot stay in the same bedroom, you're supposed to support each other in the night if anything happens. So these are reasons why you should stay in the same bedroom.
I'm happy about all this.
So many things I package together to discuss with the young people before you say, I do.
Post your book on our social media. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Really appreciate it. Unfortunately, 1 hour, 30 minutes has gone so fast. Goodness. That's all we can take on the show. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.